here's my question. Does Deion Sanders take the Alabama job or the Clemson job? I mean, any number of jobs that Deion Sanders might be available for after an incredible start to the season in Colorado.
Yeah, let me tell you this, though. If he could leave and go take one of them jobs right now, it would probably be a very good idea. Sell high. I don't know. I did not watch the TCU game. I was off doing my own thing on that day. I did watch this game against Nebraska. And the thing that jumped out to me that I'm surprised more people aren't talking about is, boy, that team is not big at all. They seem to be really fast, and Shedeur Sanders seems to be the real deal from what I can tell so far. But they don't have big, fast guys. They got little, fast guys. And you can do some things with that, but I don't see how that kind of team can withstand the rigors of a Power 5 schedule as we go through. So what we're going to find out about this team is not going to be what's happened so far. It is not going to be about when they play against Colorado State next. After that USC game, I think we'll have a much better place to have a discussion about what exactly this team is and how good they're going to be. But for right now, I mean, people told us they were going to go 0-12, 1-11.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know enough about the roster to really speak on that. But those people who told us that, I do want to know, like, what they think, because they seem to have sold a lot of people a bill of goods.
Do you believe? Look,
are we ready for the nuanced conversation? And I don't think Matt Rule was intentionally throwing shade.
Oh, dude, he was totally throwing shade.
No. When he said the first person he complimented was the offensive coordinator. Like, at what point?
What do we know about
going to start?
What do we know about Matt Rule?
It's not really Deion. It's the white offensive coordinator that they brought in from Kent State. It's not really Deion.
Look,
as if Dabo is out there calling plays all.
What do we know about Matt Rule after his time with the Panthers? He's a small person.
Yeah,
and that's really gonna get real.
Yeah. But Joe,
I couldn't get it in context.
But Joe, to be fair, he may be the small person, right?
Yes.
However, you being a Miami Hurricanes guy, you remember the Mark Whipple syndrome.
Yes.
Right? There was those 3 weeks where Ja'Cory Harris and Miami were good, and all the credit went to Mark Whipple, whom nobody thinks is actually good at being an offensive coordinator. Like, that is going to happen. And it's wild because with Lewis, who's the coordinator at Colorado, I saw people say early, like, wow, he should have gotten a Power 5 job a long time ago.
Yeah.
He was just the coach at Kent State, and they weren't good.
Right.
Like this is like that's going to happen. And to credit to Deion, though,
we could have a nuanced conversation.
We can.
We can. But
we can.
Yeah, we can. But nobody else is built for that. Nobody else is ready for it. And this is people on Team Deion. This is people opposed to Team Deion. I have found so much of the discourse around this to be flat out embarrassing from top to finish. Like, nobody actually wants to talk about this. We're getting in the context of, do you believe? No. What am I supposed to be believing in? Football coach.
I believe your kid's really good.
I think there are a couple things that are going on here. Is it dumb of me to think that what Deion is doing is very Deion, because Deion is about Deion. He always has been. I mean, the fact that he's even taking shots at Florida State when he's like, no, where'd I graduate from? Never forget where I graduated from. He's not a Florida State guy anymore. Yeah. He's probably still mad that he never got the job or they never talked to him about it. I think, though, that a team can feed off of that. Yeah. And I think what you're seeing is, how do you motivate your players? How do you motivate this crew to maximize what they have? And so far, no notes the way that Deion has handled the team, the us against the world, the do you believe? To me, that's as much of a message to his players than it is for the media side of it. But like all things, there's a nuance to this, and you have been in this. Where you've had, I thought, very just nuanced, balanced conversations about what Deion's done that's good and what Deion has said is also kind of problematic, but nobody wants to hear any of that stuff. And that's how we end up in these conversations.
Yeah, like, I think that Deion has become an avatar for a lot of people who support him for a lot of things that are in their lives that honestly don't have anything to do with Deion. Like, I've heard a lot of people make the point about this, what Deion's doing is somehow being disruptive to the status quo of college football. And I need somebody to explain to me what's disruptive about it. The only thing that's disruptive about it. Yeah, but portal stuff, I don't know if that's disruptive.
Like that volume, I guess.
Just to the point where Bubba Cunningham is referencing it in the Tez Walker situation, right?
But I don't think that that's positive in a good way, Right? Like the idea, I mean, disruptive in a good way. Like the idea that is disruptive is more so that's a bit more cynical than most things that we're accustomed to and saying. But I don't think that Deion is doing anything much differently on a fundamental level than anybody else. He's just doing it as Deion Sanders. And if you want to talk about what to me is fascinating about Deion Sanders, 35 years ago, that dude set up in a dorm room and created a brand that continues to this day. Mm-hmm. Everything he's doing is based on the brand of primetime that he created when he was at Florida State. A brand, by the way, let us not forget, that involves showing up to the last game against Florida in a limousine and a white tuxedo at age 20 or 21 or whatever it is. But that brand of primetime is still the exact same dude that's on the sideline for all these games. He has adapted it. He has adjusted it. He has thrown in some Deion. He's added some activator. He's taken some out. He's done all those things. But in the end, what it culminates with is what he has become is, and I don't know if anybody else has really picked up on this, but this is the truth. He's the single most famous college football coach that ever existed. Nobody ever took a job as a college football coach half as famous as Deion Sanders is. And so what you have is the full-on celebrity coach in our full-on celebrity era at a time where no other head coach is actually interesting. Now, if you want to say that something is disruptive, it is bringing back the idea that it's okay for your coach to have a personality, which used to be the charm of this whole sport. And now all of them are boring as hell, except for one.